take the business on the hereafter. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I've never seen the evidence one way or the other. I don't expect to see it during my lifetime. But if there is, I suppose given a choice, I think I would pick hell. The reason I'd pick hell is because that's where all the have-nots are. You know, the currency of the realm shifts. Over here it's money, over there it's virtue. But either way, if you haven't got it, you're stuck. And I've spent all my life with the have-nots, and once I got in a hell, well, I'd start organizing, just like I do down here. And then I'd be in heaven, personally, you know, because this is the thing that gives me the greatest happiness in life. And look out, heaven, here we come. I'm sure there are a lot of grievances that people down there have that should be worked out one way or another. Now, I suppose another thing which causes a lot of hate, real hate on me, is it isn't so much what I say, it's the fact that I say it out loud. These are the things that people know, but it isn't considered tactful to talk about it, you know? It's sort of like doing your toilet in public. Well, life's too short to horse around that way as far as I'm concerned. And I think that things would be a lot better if a lot more people did their toilet out in public. I think, for example, take San Francisco. If you ask me, well, not San Francisco, Oakland. Well, let me play it safe. Let me make it Los Angeles. If you ask me one thing which Los Angeles really needed above anything else, I would say what it needs is a massive enema, you know? Now, you can read into it just what I'm saying, but you know, and there isn't a guy in Los Angeles who doesn't know that. He's going to be honest on it. That is, a guy who wants to see Los Angeles become more than just a possible pictorial representation for an essay on Sodom and Gomorrah, you know.
Wherever Saul Alinsky goes, and he has helped organize more than 2 million people in 44 communities over the last 30 years, he digs into what he calls a morass of resignation, hopelessness, and despair. Providing tactical advice and technical consultation, he works with the local people in, as he puts it, rubbing raw their resentments and agitating to the point of conflict.
Put into your words, Representative Donald, why are people leaving those states specifically?
Because of crazy policy from the Democrats. The Democrats have lost the plot. And listen, this is not the Democrat Party of JFK. This is now the Democrat Party of AOC and Bernie Sanders and Mamdani. And they're just crazy. Their policy doesn't make any sense. Even if you just start with basic cultural items, we all see what's going on with the WNBA right now. Men don't belong competing against women. We're bigger, stronger, and faster. There's no disrespect to the female athletes at the professional level, at the college level, at the high school level, at the middle school level. But the truth is boys are bigger, stronger, and faster. And you have Democrats who still think that's okay. You have David Jolly, who looks like I'm going to be running against to lead Florida into the future. He still believes it's okay to transgender kids. That's craziness. Even the American Medical Association has finally seen the light and seen the reality and said, you know what? Yeah, that's crazy. We should not be doing gender reassignment surgeries on minors. That's craziness. At least let them become full adults. And if, as a full adult, if you want to do that, I don't agree with you, but that's your business. And that's not something you do for kids. So people are already seeing those cultural issues. But then when you come to the economy, Stephen Day, I'm hearing the Democrats now say that they have the solution to fix affordability. Now, how are you going to hire the person that set the fire to put out the fire?
I made a pit stop here in my hometown. I'm in the middle of a 30-day nonstop campaign tour going to 18 states and across 34 districts in August. And everywhere I'm going, Kaylee, really, from coast to coast, north to south, east to west. We're seeing the energy of people because they understand the stakes are so high in this midterm. It's less than 80 days away now, and it's going to be a fateful one for the country. And this is a contrast election. I was on the phone with Newt Gingrich 6 months ago. We talk all the time, but he has a way of crystallizing things, as you know, and he said, you know, Mike, this isn't a contract with America year. This is a contrast for America, and in short summary, it's a contrast between common sense and crazy. So we've just launched a new website. I'm going to debut it on your program this morning, but if you go to contrastforamerica.com, we lay all this out. We really have an education component to what we're doing on the campaign trail right now because, sadly, young people have not been taught the truth about socialism and communism. It's a dangerous road, and this is one of our efforts to make sure people know that. The way, this is serious. This midterm will decide the fate of America. Now, I'm absolutely convinced because of this, we are going to keep the House majority for the Republican Party. We're going to grow that majority. And so from races from Maine to Arizona to California to Michigan, all across the map, our common sense conservative candidates are going to be met in a general election with one of these crazy communist candidates, and I really, really like our chances.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I seem to be watching football. It's Saturday afternoon and I'm watching football. I couldn't be happier. It's been a long year since we've seen football. Right now, I happen to have the Chicago Bears against the Cleveland Browns on the screen right now. And I know some of you guys are probably like, who cares about football? Well, today we're going to tie in the beginning of the football season with a game plan for us to move forward, a real game plan. That's why my thumbnail showed it that way in regards to what I think we need to be doing. There it is, the game plan. This is how we win. I love this one because I really believe that. I believe this is how we're going to win. And if you saw the beginning of that intro, the guy, the devil, the demon you were looking at was Saul Alinsky, who I think we need to lay a lot of the blame for what we're seeing right now back on him. Remember, well, maybe I shouldn't say remember, you probably don't know, or maybe you do know. Hillary Clinton was a disciple of Saul Alinsky. Barack Obama was a disciple of Saul Alinsky. You can trace all of the craziness we're seeing. The craziness that Byron Donalds talked about, the craziness that Mike Johnson talked about, and everything in between, you can trace all the way back to that guy. I think that video is 1970 or so. Imagine that, 1970, maybe even 60, I think 66. So we can go back 50 years, almost 60 years, to where they've been planning this eruption, and they needed a blueprint. And it has taken them this long to get to that blueprint. They have done everything they possibly can, and now they see it within their grasp. But we have to take it away from them. And I've said many times on here, I think people are getting distracted. I think people are chasing unicorns and not realizing we don't have time for the bull crap. This is indeed the fight for America. There is no turning back. I haven't felt this way ever. If these people win, it's not like having a Democrat in office. They are going to destroy America. They are going to destroy your way of life. And we've got people out there talking about insanity. The big news was all about the big debate that happened, whether or not there was evidence that somebody shot another guy. And I'm like, what in the hell are we talking about? Why are we even mired in this stuff instead of having a focus? We got 90 days. 90 freaking days to save America. And then we'll have another couple years and have to do it all again. Because one thing you can count on, just like watching a football game, any good team, any good opponent isn't going to lay down and stop. Even if we win and should win the midterms, don't think they're going away. They're going to regroup. They're going to go watch the game films. They're going to bring in some new players, change who's going to be doing what, and they're going to come right back at us. So I hope you've got the stamina. I hope you've built up your energy for preseason, because preseason is just about to end, and now we're getting into the season. By the way, just a quick sidebar. It's very interesting to me because I know I've been one of the ones telling you, once August came, eyeballs were going to shift. And those eyeballs have indeed shifted. We are just in the preseason. And do you know the games that have been playing thus far, just the pro games, college hasn't started their games, have averaged 62,000 tickets sold for preseason games. Man, this economy must really suck. Only 62,000 average per game. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody. I bet you I'm the only person mentioning it. Many of you are like, who cares? Well, let me tell you why it cares. There's 62,000 people who paid for tickets. Maybe 30,000 who paid for parking. 62,000 who paid for beer and hot dogs and pizza and hamburgers. 62,000 people per game that allowed people who clean it up to have a job. 62,000 people who enabled police and security to have a job, probably overtime, which they're not going to get taxed on. 62,000 people who realize there's more to life than the craziness on X. 62,000 people per game who today have delusional possibly of grandeur of thinking we might get to the promised land, the Super Bowl. You know, that's us in here in Miami. 62,000 people per game who went there with other people who felt the same way and understand life is pretty good. Hey, and then I saw something, one of the coaches talked, and one of those coaches said, and it was, and somebody, as they always do, try to come at me. And they're like, well, one of the coaches said that, you know, a lot of people were empty in the stadium. And I thought to myself, you don't realize you're underscoring the point. You know, there's people like me who have paid for season tickets. Now, Robin and I will be at the game when they play here, but there's other people like, you know what, I've already got my ticket. I don't need to come see the warm-up. I'll be there when when the games start. And so there are people who were comfortable enough to buy tickets and say, I don't feel like even going today. That's when you start seeing this economy is doing not at all what you're seeing on Facebook and X and everybody else. Everything sucks. I'm looking at a game right now. I'm looking at the Chicago Bears and the Cleveland Browns. I came over to the main studio so I could put it on the big screen as I was working. I could watch the game. And I just thought to myself, where's the disconnect here? How are we having conversations about what's going on with the economy when everything we see is pointing up? Yes, there may be some people hurting. I'm not talking on a very myopic level. I'm talking on a huge level. The general economy, which they're trying to tell you sucks, and every other post on X is telling you, oh, it's awful. It's just completely awful. I mean, how do you explain that? How do you explain a stadium full of people watching a game that doesn't count, watching players who may not be there in September, taking their time on a Saturday and yet last night on a Friday to go watch a game that doesn't count? That's a thirst. That is a thirst for entertainment. That is a thirst to get away. That's our opening. That's our opening in this game plan that I think we all need to address and realize, you know, what are we doing here? One of our fanfare family members, you've seen her before, Christina Mozart. Christina can't be here today. She's busy. Christina's getting married today. She came into this community unknown and was like, wow, people in here are nice. People are here reaching out and talking to me. And then she prayed with us, and then she found God with us. And I'm like, I'm blown away. I could stop doing this forever. And there's a soul that we saved together. And then today, you know, and before that, a little while ago, she bought a property, and she's experiencing prosperity. And today's her big day. She's getting married. So I just wanted to take a second and say congratulations, Christina, and we wish you and bless you your marriage. But it's so much Debbie Downer crap when I've told you look at reality, and in reality it doesn't match. And I have to believe a lot of this goes back to Saul Alinsky. They're having to continue to try and tell us what we're seeing with our eyes isn't real. What you're seeing on X is real. What you're seeing people complain about is real. Don't take your eyes off the screen. Don't pretend that what you see at the restaurant. Don't pretend what you see at the mall is real. This is real. Everybody is freaking miserable. And it's not true. And so they're using everything they can to try and twist that. And one of the reasons is because they know, well, the old adage, misery loves company. I want you to hear this. Oops, wrong one. Hold on. Where am I?
This is a struggle for the survival of America. It's that serious. It's that real. What you talked about, abolishing police, abolishing borders, abolishing ICE, abolishing fossil fuels, gutting the Department of War, these actions collectively would bring America to its knees. It would cripple us. It would crush us. It would destroy everything 250 years of patriots fought, bled, and died for. To the people at home, everything that makes your life better, Donald Trump is delivering on and fighting for. Record tax relief, zero illegal immigration, the largest reduction in murder since 1900, the lowest violent crime rates that have ever been recorded, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, rebuilding the military, taking the fight to the drug cartels to keep fentanyl from killing our families and our children. Issue after issue, President Trump is fighting for our families, and what do they want to do? They want to hand over our nation to illegal aliens, criminals, jihadists, and communists. This isn't the old debates we used to have 20, 30 years ago, Sean, where we're saying, oh, do you want taxes at 30% or 33%? This is a debate between people who fundamentally hate America, hate Americans, and want to sell this country to their friends for scraps. That's how real this is. When you nominate candidates who say that they want the endorsement of individuals who support 9/11, this is a party that is fundamentally committed to the destruction of America.
When you listen to it in that realm, when you realize at that point you are fighting for survival, that everything you hold dear they want to take away from you, then you realize we have to work at this. We have to make sure that we are up to the task, that we have trained all summer long, all spring, just to get to this moment, to get on the field, to be one of the best, because they have been training for 50 years. And so what we're going to do is go through some of this training, and we're going to show you, actually I'm going to show you what exactly it's going to take for us to win. And luckily, we already have the game plan, and we already have the head coach. We have that head coach who's telling us every single day. And as I started doing research for this show, I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, he's been executing the game plan, and people haven't been following along. And so when you see what the game plan is, what I feel the game plan is at this point, it's going to be very easy. Well, it's going to be apparent. It's going to take some effort to execute because many people are going to fall short. And I think what we have to do is like any other teammate, we have to build people back up. Hey, man, you can do this. Mike Johnson, in the opening piece there, he talked about the new website he put together, which again, it's a tool. It's a training mechanism. It's something we got to lift the barbells. We got to drink the protein. We got to do the bench presses. It's just a tool, but if people don't use the tool, it's wasted. You won't walk into a gym on a college campus right now in a football area. You won't walk into a training area in the NFL and see an empty training room, an empty weightlifting room, an empty track. But where we are in MAGA, we're seeing a lot of people who are sitting in the bleachers, drinking the beers and eating the popcorn, who aren't ready to get in to the game. That's how we will lose. They count on that. Look at them. When they have protests, there's 100,000 people out there who don't even know why they're there, but they're there. Let me ask you a question. When was the last Republican or MAGA protest that you've seen and or went to? Huh? It's an easy question. When's the last protest that anybody on our side, MAGA-oriented, has seen? Never mind participated in. Have we seen any? No, because life for us hasn't been that way. Now your back's up against the wall. You have no choice. I want to show you what Mike Johnson was talking about. This is his new page, and it's called Contrast for America. And down here it says socialism is the first step to communism. And throughout history, every single, not once, not twice, every single attempt at socialism or communism has failed, leaving populations starving and countries gutted. And it goes through a whole bunch of things down here. The font is really small, but you can go through all the different times where it's been tried. It says the 2026 midterms are a contrast for America between common sense and crazy. I love that line. Between common sense and crazy. Should men be playing in the NBA? Common sense says, no. What are you talking about? Crazy says, well, we got to think about it because we don't even know what a woman is. And we don't know what transformers are. Common sense and crazy. Should we allow the border to be wide open where everybody can come in no matter what? Common sense goes, huh? Of course not. Crazy goes, let them all in. What? Should we be giving out SNAP benefits to anybody who can fog a mirror and breathe? Common sense says, no, get your butt to work. And if you're in really dire straits, we'll help you out. Crazy says, give it to everybody. Should your tax dollars be doing Medicare for all? Common sense is, no, pay your own. Crazy says, we're going to take all your money and make you go to a government doctor, even though other countries it hasn't worked. Common sense versus crazy. Why are we not calling these people out? They're crazy. Your ideas are crazy. We want to gut the military. Common sense is, you're crazy. We want to defund the police. Common sense says, you're crazy. And that's just off the top of my head. We could just go on and unaliving babies to the day of birth. Common sense says you're crazy. And I'm sure you could fill in the blanks and go way, way more. Because the contrast, as Mike Johnson says here, is what is the difference between saving America and losing America. While Republicans deliver secure borders, stronger economy, safer streets, renewed American strength, Democrats are surrendering to the far left because they want that big tent BS. Common sense versus crazy. From their dangerous policies to the radical candidates, we are giving voters a clear choice this election with one clear outcome. House Republicans must defend and grow our majority and continue to save America. Let me show you how important it is to be actually doing that. This came out at 1:13 p.m. It came from a federal district court judge. A federal district court judge has gave an administrative stay preventing Department of Homeland Security from obtaining roughly 17 million CDLs, commercial driver's license records, it subpoenaed for immigration enforcement. You have a court system that is saying you can't look at the records of people who have licenses, which is actually a governmental privilege because nobody's entitled to a license. And you can't look because you might find some illegals. Common sense. Yeah, we should know who's on these rolls. We should know who's driving these tanks of death down 95, down the highway. Crazy goes, give it to everybody. Once we start aligning ourselves and realizing we are common sense people, they are completely crazy, and not feel bad for saying you are crazy, because they try to make it like we're extreme. If you notice, the extreme right. What's extreme about wanting a border? What's extreme about wanting the babies to be alive? What's extreme about not wanting to be taxed to death? That's not extreme. Time to push back. What's extreme about just wanting to see women in the Women's National Basketball Association? You say, I wanted to talk about this today because today I think we have them on the ropes. They didn't think this was going to happen. This kind of pushback was not going to be what they thought was going to happen. Because now, if you've noticed, they don't have any answers. They don't have any answers because we have now found the Achilles heel, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. So in a couple of minutes, we're going to dig into the actual game plan. I want you to remember that in terms of what their Achilles heel is and how we exploit it, because that's how we win. That's exactly how we win. And if you don't realize that, you're not paying attention at all. All right, let me tell you about today's sponsor, then we're going to get into this. Well, one of today's sponsor. This is a paid advertisement from Rumble Wallet. They're sponsoring this portion of the show. All right, chat, real talk. As we near the 25th anniversary of 9/11, we got a couple weeks later to go, I've decided to do something special. And here's how it works. Rumble is giving me a great way to help some needy families. And so I'm going to use all the rants submitted on Rumble to donate to Tunnel to Towers. And what I'm going to do is actually not just donate the rants, I'm going to match all those rants. All rants sent through Rumble Wallet will be matched by me, and we'll get them to Tunnel to Towers. So if you send one, it will go directly to Tunnel for Towers. It's simple as that. So for a limited time, in order for you to participate, you can start with your Rumble wallet, and you'll also get $10 in free U.S. stablecoin for tipping Rumble creators like me, and by entering the exclusive promo code Barry10 when you sign up now. Questions, hot takes, stuff you really want me to react to, don't bury it in a chat, put it in a Rumble rant. Because let's be completely honest here. Regular chat sometimes can fly by, but when you use Rumble Wallet, it'll cut through everything. So here's the move. Scan the QR code or use the link in the description below, download Rumble Wallet, and try it yourself. And don't forget to use the code Barry10 and claim $10 for tipping in USA stablecoin. Sending a tip is easy. Open a chat like you're sending a Rumble rant and hit pay with Rumble Wallet. This is basically the VIP lane. You want a shout out, you want me to actually engage with something you have on your mind, SV will get the information to me. Use Rumble Wallet and claim $10 in US stablecoin with my code Barry10, then send a rant. I'll be watching for them, or actually SV will be, and restrictions apply. There are a limited number of entries available. Terms and conditions apply. See the description in the video description area below, or visit rumble.com/promo official rules for details. All right, so let me check with SV before I jump into the game plan. Doing things a little bit different today. What you got?
All right, I got a couple things. First story, go to the bottom cut. My New York Giants are 2-0 in preseason. Okay. Come on, man. You got to show the story. I mean, it's preseason. I got it.
You're feeling it now. You're feeling it. Huh?
I'm feeling it. Check it out, man. Look at the stats. Look at this. Come on, man. Gunther put this out. He's a Dallas fan, obviously. I'm not a Giants fan, but I got to give Jackson Dart his respect. The kid has never been afraid to show his support for President Trump and MAGA, and I respect anyone willing to stand behind what they believe. See, the tent's big. Then he goes out today, takes a hard shot, comes back, escapes pressure, and drops a beautiful TD pass to Malachi Fields. Yeah, I'm rooting for the kid, just not when he plays Dallas. They're 2-1, bro. But 2 games in a row. They won 2 in a row. I don't care if they're playing the high school team. They're still winning. Come on. Football.
It might be your year. I mean, right now, everybody. Is the perfect socialist situation. We're all at the same place. We're all starting at the same place right now. Everybody has the ability to go further. Some of us will be done by September 30th.
I gotta go.
Officially, let me say good luck to you, because you can't be in any worse of a predicament than the Dolphins are. The Dolphins, when we go down there, everyone's going to have to make money selling programs, because we don't even know who the hell's on the field. We got like 70 guys and nobody knows who the hell they are. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, good luck to the Finns as well. We'll see what happens.
All right, Nick Shirley.
Yes, I thought, here it is. You got all these government employees, and I was one for 34 years, and I took it seriously. I mean, I knew I was working for the people, and I always did my best when I could. But Nick Shirley, just a regular kid, with an iPhone, doing more work than anybody we know, combined. He drops this line after Massey attacks him publicly, apparently on his Twitter account or something. He goes, "All you do is complain and whine on X while your job is to actually work for us. I exposed and saved America billions. What have you done?" I mean, Mr. Boner Phone, Mr. Pine Cone, he's going to be out of here on January 3rd. Just the sooner the better, because this guy's a piece of crap.
Did you see where let me see if I can find where he went after him, because I had heard somebody ask me, here it is.
I don't follow him. Okay, you got it.
It's the first thing on his profile. What a tool. What an absolute tool. It says hard to take Nick Shirley seriously until he starts calling out Mike Johnson, John Thune, and Trump for funding the daycare fraud and everything.
What? Is this guy on drugs? What? Man, I love how they spin this crap. I mean, Shirley's been attacked by Newsom. I mean, Waltz. I mean, all of them, that he's exposed all this fraud. I mean, back in the day when people got exposed for stuff like fraud, they would quietly go away. Now they just say, you know what? I'll just deny it all. Look at me.
No, I mean, it's amazing that he would take him on like that. Why would you? You know what? He must be involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's part of that round table with Tucker and remember that new. I mean, I see Mitchell going to be at that table soon. He'll be there.
You talking about the Polster guy?
Yeah,
he's there. It's weird that we just what we're talking about today. I love that Nick calls it out. You stop freaking complaining. If you're on our side, pick up some slack, do something, block somebody. Using our football vernacular. How are you just going to sit there and complain about Trump over and over and over? I mean. You're contributing to the demise of the country. I mean, wow. And
wow. I know you don't got time for all the cuts, but go to cut 1, because I thought Florida again is setting the bar high for the rest of the nation and all these states. But another huge win. This is our Orlando International Airport.
Got it.
So. Yeah, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer has formally blocked Orlando International Airport from being turned into a de facto mosque with gender-separated Islamic prayer rooms using taxpayer funds. He goes, "Not anymore. We investigated and shut this down." So Texas and Florida are fighting back. I mean, we have a lot more states that have to do the same. It was first reported by the Rare Foundation. It said Orlando International Airport quietly spent $250,000 your taxpayer dollars to build gender-segregated Islamic prayer rooms. I'm telling you, man, they're sneaky little, can I say bastards? I did.
And the thing is, you got people on the local, until it bubbles up to the state level. You got people on these local boards, because people say, to me, how can it happen in Florida? It's a number one, it's a big state, and there are pockets of liberalism. Obviously, Orlando, Disney. Now, I need to say anything more there. It's a heavy. I mean, Disney is probably the biggest employer. Yeah, they're bigger than Universal in that, but they're all the same people. If you're working for Disney, if you're working for Universal, it's all the same liberal crowd. They're all the pink hairs and everything else, and the other ones that mess with kids and stuff. They're all in there. So, yeah, full disclosure. Robin and I both worked for Disney, so I used to see it and go, "Oh gosh, oh no, please stop it." Plus, in addition to the employees, the amount of freaks that would show up in the parks. I mean,
I mean, think about it. You could wear a costume and get away with a lot of stuff. I mean, Biden, he just went around sniffing and grouping and crapping and.
I'm sorry. I was looking at like a 40-yard pass, and I'm like, did I tell you it's football season? Right now it's 24, fourth quarter, 8 minutes left. Bears up 24-10 against Cleveland. Cleveland looks like crap. I'm sorry for you Cleveland fans, but dang. Oh, man.
Roaring Rage. That's her state.
She's Dominus Homus. Sorry. All right, so
I'll talk to you soon, man.
I'm gonna take a quick break, and then we'll come back into the game plan.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so you guys ready for the game plan? Well, let me tell you what the game plan is. As far as I can tell, what I can see, the best game plan is one that has already shown to be effective. Whenever I was involved in, whether it was on the playing side or coaching side, there's nobody doing anything new. Somebody will try something and like, that looks like it could work. I think we have the personnel where we can execute this. There's very, very few innovative things, like when the Chicago Bulls were winning their championships and Phil Jackson created a whole new offense. He called it the triangle. And people were like, wow. And when I was in high school, the wishbone was a good offense that was destroying teams. And then it became the wing T, and then, the spread, and all these different things happen. And when people see them working, they emulate them and say, I think we could do that. I think we could do just the same thing as this. And so if there's a game plan that's been working, and we know that it's been working, why don't we use that game plan to our advantage? And so with that, I think, and I feel like what we could be doing is using the Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals as our game plan against the radicals. I can't believe for 50 years we've sat back like the Washington Generals and let the Harlem Globetrotters run up and down the court on us, and nobody said, can we do that? Maybe we should do that. It's been working. They've been able to get certain people elected. They've been able to overthrow certain elections and do what they need to do. Maybe, just maybe, we could make that successful ourselves. So I'm going to go through Saul Alinsky's 12 rules for radicals, and let's just say there are 12 rules for MAGA. And then as I'm going through these 12 rules, think which ones you've seen President Trump already utilize. Without ever telling us, I feel like President Trump has been using rules for radicals against the Democrats. They may have picked up on it. We never did. So let me go to rule number 1. And instead of putting these rules on a backdrop of socialism, I put these rules on the backdrop of what we need to do as a distressed country at this point. You ready? So here's rule number 1. Let me make sure this works. There it is. Rule number 1. Very simple. Power is not only what you have, but it's what the enemy thinks you have. You see, as you look at that, you have to think that power comes from 2 main sources. Power, true power, comes from money and people. The have-nots that Alinsky had talked about had to build their power from flesh and blood. That's plentiful resources. Government, corporations struggle to appeal to people and usually rely almost exclusively on economic arguments. But this can be foundational to who we are. Being able to show power, it's not only what we have, it's what the enemy thinks we have. We can project much more strength. We can force our opponent, the Democrats, to overestimate their numbers or influence. We can deceive them into thinking they are powerful when they actually aren't. Now, some of you guys are saying, what the hell? Yeah, power isn't what you have. Power is what the enemy thinks you have. It's almost like Sun Tzu type stuff. If you think I'm capable of punching you in the face, then you will act accordingly. If you think we have the ability to put a man in women's sports and checkmate you, ooh, now what do? And now you know why they're left holding the bag right now. They never realized, they never even thought that the power we have would get into this point, to get into this arena, that we would ever have 2 men, maybe more, who are like pretending to be women because that's the power we have. We never thought we'd have it. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to debase myself and pretend to be a woman. To make a point, that's where you grab some power. I'm not making up the rules. These are the actual 12 rules, and I want you to follow them. Next one. Okay, you ready for this one? Never go outside the expertise of your people. Pretty simple. Because if you go outside the expertise of your people, it will result in confusion, fear, and retreat. Feeling secure strengthens people's resolve. Feeling secure strengthens MAGA's resolve. Organizations that are under attack and people who are under attack often wonder why radicals avoid, quote, the real issues. You know why they avoid the real issues? Because they don't know what the real issues are. They have to make them up. They have to stay with what their base can understand. And their base is stupid. It's crazy. So never go outside the expertise of your people. What does our base know that their base doesn't know? You see, you can use this as a deliberate strategy to maintain cohesion and avoid internal collapse like what's happening on X while still pressing forward with an agenda, i.e., your basis, the information you know. You know that you can buy a house because there's FHA loans and ways to gift the down payment. You know it's true. You know that socialism inhibits your ability to prosper. You know this. They don't. They can't go outside the expertise of their people. They're limited. We're not. We have too much life experience, especially as us boomers. We've got way too much life experience, and notice how they are trying to diminish boomers. Like, how the hell can you diminish me? You ain't done anything. So they can't go outside the box, and so they promote what's inside that box to the bitter end. We can't buy houses. Boomer closed the doors behind us. Okay, well then now we're going to make you go outside your box. We're going to make them go outside the expertise of their people. How do you do that? By explaining to people that's not true. Because once you get to that point, they can no longer have the conversation. Let them talk. There was a guy today, he posted something on X, and I was being a smart ass. Like sometimes I've been known to be that kind of person. And when I post this stuff, I kind of just say to people, you know this to be true. You absolutely know it. All right, so here's what I posted. Hold on, let me go back to this and so I can show it to you. Because at that point, watch what happens. They can't come back to me. They can't, at that point, it's beyond the realm of their expertise. And let me find it here real quick. All right, here's my post. This gentleman, I guess he's from South Africa, says, I said, this guy is financially illiterate, but of course it's not his fault. It must be somebody else's fault. That's where they go. And of course he couldn't respond. But what was his thing here? He said, and it's got to be fake because the people looked up and said he's from South Africa, but this is what they're putting out to kids. Today I'll work a 9-hour day and barely recognize what's left of my check by the time it hits my account. Pure propaganda here. Taxes take their share first. All right, so that's all they know. Taxes take their share first. If that's a problem, if what you're telling the world is that taxes take their share first, then you shouldn't be a Democrat. So you just went outside the area of your expertise, but you walked right into our wheelhouse. We know this. You know why? Because we pay taxes. You don't. So the idea is to make yourself as few taxes as possible. If taxes are one of the first things you mention as a problem, then that should be one of the first things you try to absolve yourself of. So before I bury you in information about deductions on taxes, why would you ever vote for a Democrat if that's your first problem? Way beyond his box of expertise. Well within our box of expertise. Next thing up, my mortgage payment is $800 more than it would have been 3 years ago at the old rate. I'm in real estate. I'm going to take you way outside the realm of your expertise, bro. What the hell are you doing with an adjustable rate mortgage? Huh? Oh yeah, you just told me that your mortgage payment is $800 more than it would have been 3 years ago at the old rate. You're saying your rate raised, which means you have an adjustable rate mortgage, which means you are financially illiterate. Huh? Oh yeah, it's way outside, way outside the expertise of their people. Way beyond it. Not outside my box. Probably not outside your box whatsoever. What's the next thing he says? Health insurance is $580 a month, and I still owe money every time one of my kids gets sick. What's your deductible? Where are you taking your kids where you still owe money? What's your office visit? What's your copay? Call them out, because that way you know they're BS. But see, the problem is a lot of people won't take the time and confront these people. And so when you don't confront them, if you didn't realize they are way out, never go outside the expertise of your people, which in this regard is just complain. Never give any instances what the hell you're talking about, because they can't go outside the box. So what do you have to do? You force them to go outside the box. What's the next thing here? What's left goes into a college fund that's growing slower than tuition is rising. So what you're saying is you can't afford it. Why, Jeffrey, whatever your name is, why are you putting that into a college fund? Why aren't you just opening a savings account, and maybe you'll get 3 or 4% interest or so in that savings account, and then you can pay for the trade school that little Jimmy's going to go to instead of the $40,000, $50,000 a year college. Way outside the realm of their expertise. What's his next one here? Because this is, I looked at this and my son will graduate in 8 years. So you're telling me your son is 1, or you telling me your son is a freshman who's got 4 years of high school and 4 years of college? But in any event, you've got 8 years of investing ability before he has to do anything. And you don't know what you can do to make something worthwhile in 8 years? Nope. It's way outside the realm of my expertise. He'll take out loans to enter. Wait, where'd that go? He'll take out loans at the current pace. Okay, wait a minute, whatever left go. At the current pace, tuition will have gone up another 30% by then. You understand, as you're listening to this, even though it's propaganda, this is what these kids are thinking. They don't have any knowledge to combat what is going on X. They can't go outside the realm of their expertise, where we don't have to go outside the realm of our expertise to meet them. Every single one of you would have an answer to this saying, well, at the current pace, tuition will have gone up another 30% by then. A, maybe because he's in Africa and he made this stuff up, but B, what about in-state tuition? What about a community college? Next thing, he'll take out loans to cover the gap like I did. Oh, so like father, like son, you're going to tell your kid you need to get saddled with debt and be poor ass like dad is. Good parenting there. It's so easy. It's so easy when you realize they can't go outside that box because they don't know anything. I'm 65 years old. Maybe you're 55 years old. Maybe you're 45, but you've lived enough of an experience where your expertise buries theirs. And so we need to be using that to our advantage. He'll still be paying them off in his 30s. How about maybe not making him go down that road? Competing for entry-level jobs that require 3 years of experience and pay $45,000. How about he just go to a trucking school and learn how to drive a tractor trailer? What are these people doing? I'm not working 9-hour days because the system rewards it. I'm working them because opting out isn't an option. Nobody in Washington has done this math for a single family in a long time. It's not Washington's job. It's not the position of Washington to tell you whether or not your kid should be driving a truck or learning how to wash floors or learning how to fix roofs instead of going to get a $50,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year education that you can't afford, and you're dooming him to a life of he's going to work 9 to whatever like me and never be able to get ahead. Your expertise tells you otherwise. So I hope you guys get that. And that was just number 3. After number 4 here, we'll take a break and go over some of this stuff. All right. So let's see. Here we got to go to number 3. Number 3. Where's number 3? Okay, hold on. All right. Whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy, that's why 2 and 3 kind of blended with me. When you go outside their expertise, they're lost. They don't know what to do. You have to be able to look for the opponent's insecurity, their anxiety, and their uncertainty. And it happens constantly because you can see it happening everywhere. Organizations under attack are blindsided often by seemingly irrelevant arguments they are then forced to address. So just turn it around. The chaos that they try to create, the distraction that they try to create, allows you to keep these targets in focus. They want to keep them reactive rather than strategic. They want to keep people on their heels reacting to their insanity. How many times have you seen it? The more I can protest and whine and bitch, you're focusing on the protest. You're not focusing on strategy. And that's where the difference is. Let me go to number 4 here. Okay, number 4. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. I talked about this one for quite some time. Making the enemy live up to its own book of rules. These are the people who will tell you, you can't do this. The Bible says you can't do it. I don't know anything about the Bible, but I know you do. And because your rules tell you you can't do it, you can't do it. I can get away with anything. I'm an agnostic, atheist, sorry son of a bee. I can do whatever I want. I can worship the devil, but you can't stop me because your book says you have to love everybody. And you didn't probably realize that that's just their tactic. They understood. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. Think about it this way. Ever said this to your parents? Your parents, they tell you can't drink. Yet on a Saturday afternoon watching football, Dad pops open a beer. Hey, you said we shouldn't drink. Or you said we shouldn't eat before dinner. And I'm seeing you with a sandwich and a beer. What happens at that point? Dad's got nothing to say. Dad's like, shut up. That's about it. If I want your opinion, I ask for it. Okay. But you told me we shouldn't eat before dinner and definitely shouldn't drink a beer before dinner. I'm going to make you live up to the rules that you set. Doesn't work out when you talk to your parents that way. Don't ever swear in my house. Damn it. Wait a minute. Mom, you just swore. They were Alinsky-eyed and didn't realize it. We couldn't question it. We were not allowed to question their book of rules because I said so. Where is that in the book? That became a rule because I said so. The rule is that every letter gets a reply. If there's a rule in your business, if there's a rule in your house, every Thursday, you have to take the garbage bin out to the curb, regardless, rain, sleet, or snow. It's your job to take it out there. Well, then, if I wanted to hurt you, I would cause you to have more garbage to pick up because you have to get it out there on Thursday. You work for a company, and this has been a big example. It says, I want to make sure every person who crams us on Yelp, they get a reply. All right, so we'll just make 30,000 entries. And now your rule is you're going to have to answer all 30,000 of those. So you overwhelm people because none of us can obey all of our own rules. This is a serious one. And you've all been victim to it because I can't tell you how many people have said, I can't tell you how many people on the right have said it to me. So that's where it's really crazy. I can show you emails where people have emailed me and said, Barry, you say you're a Christian, but you swore the other day. Oh, that's right. I said a bad word, and because I said a bad word, I must be a bad Christian. Using my rules of faith against me. And if you sit back and realize you can never wholly live up to any of your rules, and that's the loophole. They target an entity's credibility and reputation. And at that point, they try to go after what you have tried to hold up for yourself. And if you catch somebody lying or failing in their commitment, it lets them to keep chipping away. So what if you did the exact same thing to them? There's so much of their stuff that can be thrown right back at them. People are doing it right now. They didn't know what to do. People now don't understand. Wait a minute, you're throwing it back at me? Hassan Piker, yeah, you're all about socialism and communism. Well, yo, bro, you live in a $2 million house. How the hell you live in a $2 million house? They don't expect you to say this stuff. Abdul Al-Sayed, he's freaking out because they found out that he and his wife collectively make $700,000, $800,000 a year. You expose the hypocrisy, you erode their legitimacy through relentless pressure. Notice how it disappeared. I posted it, sent a video once, and I've looked around. Nobody is talking about Hassan Piker living and buying a $2 million house. Nobody is talking about Abdul Sayed making $700,000 or $800,000 a year. Why? Because they can't live up to their rule. You're going to tell me I need to pay for Medicare for all? Where's your tax return? They kept asking Trump all over, give me your tax returns. Rachel Maddow couldn't wait. Where's yours, Rachel? Put yours out there. Be as transparent as you expect other people to be. I want to use the rule against you. Don't let me see you sitting in a suite, Hakeem Jeffries, at a Jay-Z concert. You remember that? See how fast it went away? But they went after Trump over and over and over. And they'll tell you that this person makes this much and Elon makes this much. You ever see anybody on the left talking about LeBron's money, Jay-Z's money, Beyonce's money, John Bon Jovi's money? Anybody? Why not? Bruce Springsteen's money? You got to make them live up to their rules. You want to install socialism? What about for him? You don't have a problem with Hassan Piker, huh? What are you worried about me for? What are you talking about my money? If you don't use these against them and they're extremely valuable, you're going to be missing the opportunity to turn this right around on them. And they're hoping for it, and they're praying for it, and whoever they pray to, and they're using the media to put up the shield. Every time I turn on CNN or MSNBC, and I hear them talking about the poor peoples, and I realize I'm looking at somebody who's probably making $2, $4, $5, $10 million a year. Every time I see one of the liberal podcasters, I'm like, Don Lemon, you got a whole... Let's talk about Don Lemon. Don Lemon, first and foremost, the money thing. I'm sure you made good coin at CNN. Number two, why is it everybody talking about racial appropriation when you're sitting on a bar stool of a white guy? Barstool. His boyfriend is white. That's right. White supremacy. How's it white supremacy? How come your spouse, how come your person is white if there's so much white supremacy? You're not supposed to have a white person. Kamala. Oh my God, Kamala. Your husband is white and he's Jewish. How can you be hanging out with a Jew? Never mind a white guy. Jews are the worst thing on earth. How can you possibly stay married to him? And you could do that all day long. They don't talk about it. No. Nope. Nobody will say anything. Make them live up to the same rules. Mandami, You guys know because we've talked about it, his family is rich as anything. They don't talk about it in the news. It's completely fake. These rules for Alinsky were written for us today. We have the ability to go out there and say, hey, I can use number 4. You're full of it. You're the one in his office, Mandami's office, who's in charge of tenant problems and everything else, and how you should not have property rights. Her parents own all kinds of rentals. Nobody's supposed to know that. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Seriously. So I hope you guys are understand. We got 8 more rules to go. So I'm gonna pause here. Ashley got an email yesterday, and she said somebody said that I wasn't taking enough comments. So I'm gonna do that. All right, so let me take one here. It says, I don't understand why people don't go to manual work first, then bit by bit get a college degree of their choosing. Yep, you can go to night school. You can absolutely go to night school. I try not to swear. That is why, as a Catholic, there is reconciliation. Confession, we used to call that, right? Same thing. The Chicago Bears stink. My confession memories from the early 1960s as a kid, disobeyed my parents one time and mumbled that I took the Lord's name in vain. Phil, this one here, white supremacy for them, but not for you. Exactly. That is what they've been doing. They've been pointing at you, using your rules against you, using all kinds of these things that I'm showing you, and probably walking off stage going, what time's the limo get here? Let's see what else we got here. Brilliant, Barry. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be brilliant. I'm just trying to point this stuff out to you, but thank you. I'm not crying. Prosperity and love. Libtard saying military is a great option if you want to further your education through college. Again, what you guys are saying right now is the answer. It's your expertise and knowledge is beyond their ability to understand. I bet you they don't military. Well, I'm not going to military. You get free college, free food, free medical. It's kind of socialism light for you. This says here, swearing and cursing doesn't make you a bad Christian, just disobedient. James 7:3-7:10. All right, I did not know that. AOC dumped her white boyfriend and froze her scrambled eggs. Oh my God, their mindset is rules for thee and not for thee. Well, the reason why they have their ability to do that is because they're making you live up to your rules. And it's very easy to make people live up to their rules when they don't live up to them themselves. Many people have said what you said, rules for thee, but not for me. And you didn't know that was rule number 4. All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 5. Let's see if this button's working. All right, number 5. Ridicule is a man's most potent weapon. There is no defense. It is irrational. It infuriates you. It works as a key pressure point to force the enemy into concessions. And so they are relentless in ridiculing people on the right. It's petty, it's crude, it's rude, and they want to create anger and fear. By being petty and calling you all kinds of different stuff, it's awesome how even guys like Barack Obama masterfully employed this rule on a regular basis. It's irrational, it's hard to counter, and it's effective at extracting concessions. Because people apologize. They actually apologize when you are told you can't ridicule somebody. And Obama is a master of it. He'll get on stage. Those right wingers and stuff that they say, well, and it works for them. This is a tough one for a lot of you. Because ridicule being a potent weapon also goes against number 4. because we have to be nice. We have to be upstanding. We have to be bigger than them. You know, when they go low, we go high type of stuff. No, not in this kind of battle. We have our rules of life, what we will do, but we are now fighting for the survival of America. What are you willing to do? I see you here saying AOC sitting here freezing her eggs. I saw a perfect thing this morning. AOC is freezing her eggs so that when she feels like it, she could have a baby removal in the future. That's ridicule. AOC's eggs are scrambled as somebody. That's ridicule. We're taught you can't do that. We're told it's mean. You shouldn't be mean. You're deplorable. You're fascist. You're a Nazi. You're irredeemable. You suck. And they've been using it the whole time as a weapon. And every one of us on our side have just tried to stay out of that fray. See, as this stuff is unfolding, you're probably realizing, yeah, I see it now. This has been in place for 50 years, and they're following it. I can't even recall all the different insults. I was just thinking of Hillary's speech that day, but now you see it everywhere. Racist, this, I mean, homophobic, xenophobic. How many phobics are we? As many as they could make up. And what you never knew, if you hadn't looked at Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, you didn't know this was part of the plan. It was their playbook. You know, one thing that should help you is that if you're being ridiculed, now you know that it's just part of their plan. The other thing is you got to strike back. You have to show that you're impervious to other people's bullcrap. All right, let's look at number 6. Number 6, a good tactic is one your people enjoy. They will keep doing it without urging in return for more. They will even suggest better ones. Radicals are no different from other people. They avoid unfun activities, but they revel in ones that bring results. They sustain their momentum through enjoyable, high-energy actions that keep participants engaged long-term. They just, blah, 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 blah. They just like to keep discussion, arguments going, except for on Saturdays and Sundays from now until December. That good tactic is one your people enjoy. What is one tactic that the Democrats always do that you can see they actually enjoy doing it? And as I'll look in the chat, what you can actually recognize some of the stuff right now. If you sit back and think, what do they do and that they laugh at? Well, one of the things they love to do is ridicule President Trump. One of the biggest things they love to do is lie. They have to keep lying. And so right now, everything about the catering truck, and they twisted it around to say he was a coward because he got off the plane and he went, in a catering truck and got away. And then what happened after that? It stopped because people started fighting back. Namely, somebody like Buzz Patterson, who started telling them, hey man, we did this with Clinton and other presidents for quite some time. We had to use this kind of deception because that's how you keep a president safe. And that leads to rule number 7, because number 7 basically explains that. Number 7 says a tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. Hey, it worked. On to the next one. They're so good at that. They're so good of going on to the next one. Don't become old news. Radical activists get bored, so the organizers have to constantly invent new microaggressions to keep them excited and involved. You hardly hear them talk about what was happening in Minnesota just a few months ago. I saw somebody yesterday who talked about the 2 people who got shot, but they don't talk about it anymore. It dragged on too long. It becomes a drag. Now, counter that with what you see on the right. Here we are, a year since Charlie Kirk's death. People have cried, they have been in fear, they have mourned. Most have gone on with their lives, but there's a group of people who are fixated on this. It's too long. It becomes a drag where people, only the most rabid of the insane, want to keep feeding themselves more about Charlie Kirk's murder. Why? Why is that? And people who are feeding that know, well, you know what, there's a subsection of society who just can't get enough. And I'm going to milk this till the cows come home. Even though it has no relevance and no importance about what we got to do in November. It drives me crazy. Absolutely drives me crazy to see this kind of stuff happen. They know when to move really quickly. That explains why in a 24/7 news cycle, things move fast. Slogans, protest methods, everything is articulated and coached to maintain intensity and prevent fatigue. Right now, the Democrats are in a, I don't know, sort of a weird place because there's really nothing there with red meat. They Medicare for all, Medicare for all. No, there's no big thing happening. How many of you guys know, listen to this one. How many of you know there was a mass shooting at Virginia State University today? I looked on X, I'm like, is nobody reporting this? No, we need to move on. Why? Because that was probably, let me just say it this way. Virginia State is a black college. So unless it was a white sniper or something, nope, nobody's going to talk about it. Matter of fact, nobody talks about what's going on in Chicago every single weekend. They move on. It's a drag. But we let them have that solace. We let them have that. We don't keep coming back at them. Hey, people are getting killed in Chicago every single weekend. What are you doing about it? You got Danny and the ladies from Chicago Flips Red are like, we're trying out here. Nobody's paying any attention. Brandon Johnson, what are you doing? Jamie Pritzker. Well, it doesn't get talked about. It's not important. Not important. We'll go one more and we'll take a break here. All right, number 8. And this is what they do and what we don't do. Keep the pressure on, never let up. Every single television show, every single movie, used to be a couple years ago, every sporting event, they kept the pressure on. Somebody commented on X to me. It's like, you mentioned Person of Interest and Lioness as 2 shows to check out. She goes, and the lady said, I love Lioness. She goes, but why? What's with the lesbo scenes? Well, because they're just shoved in your face. I go, just fast forward through that, and the rest of the show is good. But every chance they get, they're going to keep the pressure on. Remember the whole, drag queen story hours? They just kept the pressure on. Just keep doing it. But now we've got them in a position where we have reached this stalemate. I'm telling you, this WNBA thing is effing huge. We're using their rules against them. We're definitely keeping the pressure on. We are ridiculing them. We are doing all of the steps I've said so far against the WNBA. And if you're following that story, you can see there's no response. They don't know what to do. They're having meetings. Now imagine that if we did the exact same thing with all the political stuff. That's why last week I tried to show you, I did some stuff on WNBA and people are like, oh, why is Barry showing this? Because it's right there in front of you. They can't get away from it. Every single day they do something else, and Caitlin Clark or Sophie Cunningham, and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And then yesterday they had a meeting to determine how they were going to determine what a woman was. And you're talking about a league that calls themselves the Women's National Basketball Association, and they still, a week later, can't define what a woman is. Because we're keeping the pressure on them. And so I've been following the WNBA story closely, and I watch as even some of the sports writers are trying to back away from it, trying to get you to look elsewhere, but they can't, because in this instance, we're keeping the pressure on. President Trump keeping the pressure on. Did a speech in New York with the police, said, no men in women's sport, keeping the pressure on. So this is where we can win, is if we keep the pressure on. Hey, every single one of his videos. Hey, Hassan, you live in a $2 million house. Hey, this, and just hit him. Keep the pressure on. I love what Nick Shirley did to Thomas Massey. Why don't you quit complaining and do something? Keep the pressure on them. Ridicule them. Yeah, I know this might sit not well with some people, but this is what they've been doing to us for 50 years. And if you realize that, that's where you start, wait a second, this is what they've been doing to us. When I run my libtard zone, I haven't done one of those in a while, and I show you some of the crazy stuff they say, I want to ask you, you think it's by accident? Or is that the messaging they want to put out because it keeps the pressure on from their side? So as you're going through the news today, or you're looking at different videos on X, look at what President Trump is doing to flip that on them. And as you've been listening to these rules, you have to realize President Trump has been using them the entire time. Every single rally, every single speech, what does he say? Make America great again, make America wealthy again, make America safe again. I've done this for the economy. I've done that for this. We're keeping people safe. What are his people saying? I just played you a video with Stephen Miller. We're doing this, we done that, we done this. Keep the pressure on. They can't deflect. And then with the ridicule, he became a master. And he's done it in his speeches. Should I call Joe Sleepy Joe or Criminal Joe? Whatever. Hey, everybody raise their hand. Should I call it Crooked Hillary? What do you think that is? I ridicule them. Little Marco. Remember that? Marco's now the Secretary of State for President Trump. And back then he was like, Little Marco. He ridiculed him. Ted Cruz, your wife, she's ugly. Way over the line ridicule. But he knew by doing that, the story would shift and people would either laugh or get mad. But in any event, he could keep the pressure on. And you didn't realize he'd been doing it the whole time. I can't even think of all the people he said, he's crazy, she's crazy. AOC just the other day got off stage, Fox News, stuck a microphone. She's crazy. Keep the pressure on. I hope you guys are getting this. I mean, because the more I dug the research in, I was like, there's something to this. Let me check with SV, see what he thinks. What do you got, man?
Hey, man, I got 4 crazy stories, but before I do that, I do have a PSA, because I tried to put it in the chat when you were reading. There is one Rumble donation, I'm going to say, because it gets lost in all your messages. Costa Rica expat donated $10, and he or she said, glad to donate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That will go to $20 will go to Tunnel to Towers. Thank you very much.
There you go.
All right. So
all right.
So
you choose.
Keeping my space here. I'm on number 8. And it's funny, like some of the stories that you put up here, they sometimes correlate with it. You know what I mean?
They do. Oh, absolutely.
All right, here
I try
we go.
to get stuff that's very apropos. Which one?
Speaking of which, this one.
Yes. So, we're supposedly she's 41. She looks like she's been through a war. Yeah, so they just exposed, this is the lady that was doing the graffiti, got caught doing the graffiti at the monument, which is horrible, So she's, besides being a lib nut, she was exposed for being arrested days earlier for illegally camping on the federal property. So they said, no wonder she attacked a memorial with National Guard nearby. She's the exact kind of vagrant President Trump is cleaning out of D.C. Lock her up. Her name, Farris, had also been arrested on August 10th for unlawfully camping on federal property. So I'm sure you don't have to hear the 54 seconds, but yeah, that's that crazy lady. I've heard her, man. She's posted a lot of videos. She's got a lot of she's got a mental health issue going on, obviously, but she's a mess. She is a mess.
That in itself is a problem, that we're not dealing with these crazy people. Crazy versus common sense. Common sense is, number one, you should be camping out there and you shouldn't be doing some of the stuff that you're doing. But nonetheless, we're not allowed to do that. Ashley's trying to get Scott Turner on. What's this one?
Let's see. Yes. A leftist judge just blocked President Trump and HUD Secretary Scott Turner from withdrawing $241 million from the fraudulent Los Angeles homelessness organization, LAHSA. Wow. The group was defunded because of fraud. This judge is keeping the fraud going. Impeach David O. Carter. He has overstepped his authority and is clearly just trying to keep money going to the homeless industrial complex. I'm telling you, Barry, these judges, man, my thoughts, if you can read my thoughts right now, I'd be in trouble. But
these judges are, that'll get overturned, but I think I said months ago, one of the things that they're doing is just trying to bide their time, just slow him down as much as possible. And it's not going to change if these people just aren't impeached and thrown out. That's the only way it's going to stop. What's his name? Not Javier Milei, the other guy from El Salvador, Bukele. Just got to get rid of him. Got it. There's no choice. We got to get rid of him. Otherwise, they'll just keep doing it. There's no incentive for them to stop because the Democrats don't care. They want them to keep doing it. All right, what do you got here?
Go to cut. Okay, we'll check that one first. Okay, so this is interesting. So California, you know how, remember, if you did like $700 worth of theft in a CVS, you can walk out of store? Well, they're going to go one step more. So California Democrats are moving to pass a law that lets criminals loose if they commit a crime of necessity. This means if the crime is just low level enough, the person can walk, kind of like that lady you had in your clip yesterday.
From New York.
This is utter madness. Yeah. So Assemblyman D'Amadio, Democrats say if you're poor, that forces you to rob a store. Nobody is robbing stores for food, bread, and eggs. They're stealing Nikes and PlayStations.
I hope they do it. Because what will happen is that California and these cities will turn into that too. They'll turn into third world countries, and it's insane at this point. Hey,
the next story is going to fit perfectly in. Talk about uselessness. This just came in 5 minutes ago. So watch these stats I'm going to read to you. So the Palisade fire.
Let me find it here. Which one is it?
8?
8?
At the very bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric Doherty. So, that Pacific Palisade fire was about almost 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Well, he said, in an abysmal Democrat failure, only 17 homes have been completed in 19 months after the Pacific Palisades fire in Karen Bass's L.A. Pratt goes, only 0.5% of homes destroyed in the Palisade fire have been rebuilt 19 months later. More than 80% of homes still don't even have a permit to begin rebuilding. Barely 15% of residential building permits have been approved. This is total incompetence. Spencer Pratt was going to help fix this if he got elected. Fraud got in the way of that, so the people will keep getting stalled out. Horrific.
Wow.
I mean, there should be people with pitchforks going towards her house or her mansion with the armed guards.
And the thing with it is, at this point, they're probably looking to buy as many of those lots as possible so that they can, put homeless camps on the beach. It's crazy.
Yeah, so, that's what they're hoping. You're right.
It just makes no. When we had Hurricane Andrew down here, it was a Cat 5, 200 miles an hour, wiped out the entirety of Homestead. They rebuilt like
Yeah.
all of that stuff within a year. I mean, they all got rebuilt. So I don't understand why they can't get this stuff done quickly.
Because incompetence. These Karen Bass cannot balance a freaking checkbook, man. I mean, she's totally incompetent. She just laughs, and that's what they do. They laugh. You know, I'm doing a good job. You know, it's all right.
Yeah,
I'll give you more
it.
needles. I'll give you more meth, free meth, Narcan. I'll pass it
think
out.
about it. Think about it this way: Spencer Pratt personally lost his property.
Yeah.
I'll send you $50. All right, $50. If anybody, well, I won't say anybody because there might be somebody there, but if people can name any other homeowner out there.
Yeah, good point.
You know, and so that goes with what we were saying about, you know, the rules and keeping the pressure on. If there was 200 homes that got burnt down and the only one we can collectively name is Spencer Pratt, what are the 190 people who lost their homes? Why are they not screaming? Why are they not on television? Why are they not protesting? They're not doing anything. And so it's
I mean, a lot.
Good.
I'm sorry, Barry. I was going to say, a lot of the people don't have the ability to, social media presence and the notoriety of Spencer Pratt. So fortunately for.
Did you see the lady who was talking about stealing stuff yesterday who looked like she just got off Jabba the Hutt's?
And Barry, I lost my appetite yesterday. Don't make me go back to that story. Come on.
So you're telling me that if somebody said that the homeowners, the Palisades homeowners are going to have a press conference, nobody's going to show up? Because all you need is you need a microphone and a podium. That's it. And like, we're going to have a press conference. And if nobody shows up, then that's even more reason somebody's going to get the scoop. So if it was Fox LA or somebody like that, I don't care if one press outlet showed up, you got to keep doing it. Otherwise, the only person who looks like they're doing anything is Spencer Pratt. You know,
when Nick Shirley was out there, didn't he go to one of those parks where they were doing the drugs in the open? One guy was taking a crap on the floor. I mean, he almost got attacked. I mean, all the stuff, the news doesn't want to cover it because they're covering up for the incompetency of these liberal lawmakers. I hear what you're saying, Barry. I mean, you know, there's got to be more people with pitchforks, but I guess some people are like, it's not worth it. You know, that's defeatist attitude. You know, my vote's not going to count, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the word for that is apathy. It's
suicidal.
And right now, you've got people in New York who woke up in whenever it was November, and they had no idea that what's his name, Mondami was going to win, and now they're living a nightmare. And so, I think at this point we do have to, like I said, it's not going to work if people don't wake up. If people don't wake up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me go here.
Good point.
All right. Somebody says here, thank you. Somebody says when they rob shoe stores, no work boats, no work boats ever get taken. Nope, no work boots, no way. These are the rules Hillary lived by. Yep, she wrote love letters basically to Saul Alinsky. The madness is LA has nothing to do as being incompetent. It's all about corruption. Yeah, it's corruption. Let's see here. Actor Mel Gibson lost his house in California. He's been trying to speak up as well. The news wouldn't cover it. Independent podcasters are targeted. Well, at some point we have to basically stand up and say it's time for us to be out there. And you know, think about it. I don't even know how old he is, but think about Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley is 23, 24, 25. And at one point, a couple of months ago, nobody knew who the hell he was. And he showed up and started talking about fraud. Went to Minnesota. Went there on his own. Didn't get the big money from Elon or any of the donors yet. He just decided, you know what? I'm going to pick this thing up and I'm going to go out there and make some stories. Just like all the old school reporters used to do. So you have to wonder, why are there not people in every town being their independent journalists at this point? What's stopping you to going to the, the commissioners meeting for your town when they're doing it for data centers? Why aren't you out there doing it for data centers and advocating for stuff because you don't know what really is all about? But that's you're seeing now. Hopefully it's opening your eyes a little bit in terms of what's going on. All right, let's look at, where did I leave off here? What did I leave at number 8? What was number 8? Yeah, we left off at number 8. Number 9, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. Just what we were talking about. Just what we were talking about at this point. Just saying, people are like, I can't get out there. They're going to threaten me at home. They're going to put my phone number out there. They're going to blast me. All kinds of things like that. They're going to embarrass me. They're going to just think of everything reason why you wouldn't do something. They know that. The opposition has mastered that approach. They understand if I attack you from all sides, at your job, with your family, with your friends, and try to keep you reeling, don't give you a chance to rest, don't give you a chance to regroup, don't give you a chance to re-strategize. It's a relentless multi-front assault simply designed to exhaust and overwhelm you. But usually, as it says, the threat is more terrifying than a thing itself. Your imagination and your ego can dream up many more consequences than any activist or radical. The perception is what you end up turning into reality. See, large organizations crumble and bend the knee because they think it's going to hurt their brand. And so even though they've game played for worst case scenarios, they still end up being the ones going down on the knee because they think, oh man, there's 10,000 people that are saying bad things about me. So what? So effing what? I'm not going to get demoralized because somebody says something negative to me. SB, true story. SB said, hey, he used to send me screenshots of people who said bad things in chat. And he goes, what do you think about it? And I go, I don't until you said it to me. I don't need to see it. Doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. Bye-bye. You see, because the threat is more terrifying than the thing itself. It's almost like that old thing, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. We are in a psychological warfare right now. If you don't see that, you're not paying attention. They are doing so much to try and get inside of people's heads that they understand right now that the threat of what they can say to you is actually more bark than bite. They don't have the ability to follow up on it. Could they? I'm sure there could be somebody out there, but they want you defensive because when you're defensive, you can't be offensive. If you understand that more than likely the threat is more terrifying than the thing itself, then you need to make them feel that way. You need to look up where they work. You need to figure out where they live. You remember when the whole doxing thing was happening? Do you remember how it stopped? The whole doxing thing stopped when they started getting doxed. I don't even think she's still on X. What was her name? Taylor Lorenz. And she was well known for doxing people until she started getting doxed. She left Twitter. She closed her account. I'm going to go to Blue Sky. I can't take it. It got turned around on her. But people on the right, they shy away. Hey, they're saying bad things about me. You take your bad things and stick it where the sun don't shine. I don't really care. Don't care whatsoever. Number 10. Okay. If you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. That's a really weird one. If you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. Violence or overreaction from the other side can win public sympathy for the underdog. So, What they tried to push was, oh my gosh, ICE went ahead and killed these people in Minnesota. That's very negative, but the more we push it, people will become sympathetic to the people in our cause, and then all of a sudden it becomes a positive for us. You don't think that these people exploited those two people dying? Do you think they really cared about these people dying? Or did they know if we push this negative hard enough, it's something that we can use? You're seeing it with the black guy that got died out by the ocean trip, Nolan something. And now you've got Al Sharpton saying, we need an investigation because this kid died. They don't care about the kid dying. If they cared about the kid dying, they'd be talking about Lincoln Riley. If they cared about people dying, they would be talking about all these different people who that the newcomers have killed. But there's no way for them to turn it into a positive. And so at this point, they sit back and pick whichever tragedy that they can turn into a positive note. It's psychological warfare. This goes all the way back to the time at unions when people are getting their head busted. Completely crazy stuff was happening back in the unions during the day, and they turned it into a positive. They used it to get people to appeal to the unions and say, yeah, you shouldn't be busting heads like that. The demonstrations provoked management violence, and once the management strikes back, they shifted public support. Once they shift public support, the negative becomes the positive. How many times have you heard, and it used to drive me crazy, when something would happen to somebody, it's usually black on white, when something would happen, and they would turn it around and say, what did they do? No, the only thing they did is they got dead. Oh, there must have been something that provoked them, because the immediate jumping on it is to turn it into a positive. We need to show people that if you weren't that bad, if you weren't a white supremacist, that would never have happened. They have to generate conflict so that any pushback can be framed as oppression. Hey, he killed that dude. He did it. Yeah, but you don't know what he did. He needed to do something. All he was trying to do, he was a good kid. He was just trying to get some eggs and bread, and you killed him. Turn a negative into a positive. And you probably didn't realize that this has been going on for 50 years, and they were trained at it. They understood by doing this, they could mobilize much bigger support. Nobody cares about a couple of people, unfortunately, getting unalived in Chicago. But if we could find the narrative, what happened here? It was a couple of guys, oh, I know what happened. I was walking down the street at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was 40 degrees below zero, but some reason I went to a Subway. And when I went to this Subway, these guys jumped out with MAGA hats and they started beating me and put a noose around my neck. Oh, that's awful. It's so awful. Let's turn it around and call the MAGA white supremacist. You live through it every single day. That whole Jussie Smollett thing. That was a perfect example of number 10. Even if they have to manufacture it, they use it. Oh, Bubba Wallace went to the race, and these NASCAR people, oh my God, it's so bad. There was a noose on the garage door, and then NASCAR had to go explain it. I can put you on the defense, I'm winning. If I can keep pushing on offense, you have to keep playing defense. You push the negative hard enough, it becomes a positive for us. We have to do the opposite. We have to be able to say, that's what you did to us. President Trump tries to do it all the time, doesn't get enough support. To try and turn it around. You're seeing it every day. You probably don't notice it. What's the negative? Think about it. They're pushing a negative, and now we need to turn it around. Gas prices, housing prices, grocery prices, border. but he's not getting enough support. Scott Besson will say it, Stephen Miller will say it, some of us will say it, but it's not a large thing that we're using as support. Yeah, it's wild when you start looking at this from a psychological perspective. Let's look at number 11 here. Number 11, the price of a successful attack is a constructive alternative. Never let the enemy score points because you're caught without a solution to the problem. That's what the WNBA is going through right now. Never let your enemy score points because you're caught without a solution to the problem. That's why what's happening in the WNBA is so critical to show us the way forward. We have caught them. The piece of a successful attack is a constructive alternative because they have no solution. They're trying to get people to stop talking about it. You've heard it a long time. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Activist organizations have an agenda and they seek a place at the table to wield the power, so they prepare compromise solutions. They make you compromise. Now you've got the WNBA up against the wall and they don't know what to do. I've never been in this situation. We never thought that these people would turn it around on us. And you're seeing it. If you're paying attention, it's almost comical at this point, watching these people try to backstroke out of determining what a woman is. Who knew it was going to take to this point to get the entire left to fall apart? So much so that they're not getting any support from anybody anymore. The media is just like, can we just make this go away? And every time Enos Cantor and Royce White or anybody gets on television and talks about it again, like, can we just make this go away? They've been using this number 11, the price of successful attack. Ensured radicals appeared constructive while advancing their core goals after creating the crisis that ends up being talked about. You understand that one? They created the crisis of not wanting to define what a woman is. And now we're forcing them to define it. The very league itself could go completely bye-bye if they don't make the right decisions. So number 12, the last one, dovetails basically off of all the ones we saw before. Number 12 tells us, I think, the most powerful one. It's sort of like, I call it the hyena trick. That being, you pick the target, you freeze it, you personalize it, and you polarize it. You pick the target, you freeze it, and then you personalize it. And then you destroy it, I would add. At that point, I would definitely add destroy it to it. You cut off the support network. You know, when they always, the animals that travel in packs, the ones that are most frail are the younger ones, or the older ones. And the idea with the hyenas and different animals that hunt is they try to pick the target, get it scared, freeze it, and then attack it. And you isolate that target. You go after people and not institutions. People hurt. People will always feel pain. Institutions don't feel pain. Where do we just see this? Where do we just see this? Southern Poverty Law Center has been a thorn in our butt for years. But now we arrested the head of the Southern Poverty Law Center. She's feeling the pain. We could laugh at Planned Parenthood. We can look at Planned Parenthood with disgust. We can look at the Southern Poverty Law Center with disgust. But now we have personalized it. That woman, you did this. You're going to jail. This is very cruel. Very cruel. But it's the most effective of them all. It's direct, it's personalized criticism, and ridicule works. One of these variants of Alinsky's most famous and successful rule, it creates a public face and a public enemy with a face and name and freezes support around them and polarizes the conflict. Right now, the commissioner of the WNBA is being used that way. It's on her. She will be the one to lose her job. When it happened at Harvard, the president of Harvard, not Harvard, the president became the person we went after. Right now we're seeing with Fauci, him, not the NIH, they're going after Fauci. This has been used to destroy people. And it's used to destroy them rather than debate ideas or institutions. The analysis with all of that is that these rules prioritize power through manufactured conflict. It creates power through personal destruction. It creates power through moral relativism. You've heard this, the ends justify the means. You've heard that over and over, probably for decades, and didn't realize these 12 rules are meant to justify the means. Do whatever we need to do to take that down. You're a maggot, you're irredeemable, you're deplorable, you're homophobic, you're xenophobic. I'm going after him personally. And that destroys everything and doesn't require as much open debate or reform inside of systems. Alinsky always urged people to try recognize these tactics, and I'm asking you to recognize these tactics in contemporary politics, media, and activism. That way you can resist them. They immediately tried that with Caroline Leavitt. She's quitting not because she wants to be with her babies, but because she's mad that President Trump left her on the plane as a decoy. No evidence, nothing to substantiate it, but they isolated her. Luckily, you also saw the antidote. Don't respond to it. That makes it worse for them, and that's why it died off very quickly. They started with the story, they tried to run with it, and it died on the vine. I'm not giving you the time of day. You have to educate each other. You have to pursue change through non-destructive means, grounded in these principles. And we can do it. I can tell you, I know we can do it if we decide to actually take everybody to take it on. Everybody has noted that Trump's approach mirrors these rules, especially the relentlessness part, the ridicule part. Remember low energy jab? I talked to you earlier about crooked Hillary. You personalize, you polarize, you target, and then you put the pressure on over and over and over. You project power beyond actual numbers because of media and the rallies, and you're forcing your opponents to live up to their stated standards. That probably is the worst one that they have. Sanctuary cities, all this kind of stuff, make them live up to their standards. Recent stuff in the news has called Trump's second-term tactics unapologetically Alinskyite. Go ahead and look that up. They've been actually saying Trump's being Alinsky. That was in the National Review. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that people are recognizing he's using these rules against them. I'm not making it up. This was actually in the National Review. Others have been completely critical of Saul Alinsky's goals and his Lucifer connection. But at the same time, I would encourage you to study these 12 rules. They're very simple 12 rules, and deploy these tactics as much as you can, whenever you can. For example, praising ridicule-based messaging against the Obama administration. Praise it. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Look at books and articles such as adaptations framed as rules for patriots instead of rules for radicals. These should be rules for MAGA. Flip the flipping script. Now, I've gone on for 2 hours now, and I'm hoping you guys understand that this has been what the left has tried to do, and now we have the opportunity to turn it around against them. We can be and use DSA-style rules. It's just a matter if we have the intestinal fortitude to do it. campus organizers, street organizers. We may not be those type of people, but I got to go back to being a boomer. You have power way beyond the realm of the people who are trying to tell you you're bad for being a boomer. That's your biggest strength right now. You have life experience. And what we're finding is that too many people who have life experience are being beaten up by people who don't have any experience at all. I love getting in the fray with them. I start talking to them about real estate and they all fold and run. They don't want to talk to me. Oh, you're an ass. Mm-hmm, yeah, okay. But you're taking your tail, tucking it and run. You can't stand to me. Now, I'm sure every single one of you has experience in some realm that there are certain people that you could talk to and you run circles around them. Isolate and go after it. This is how we win. These 12 rules is how we end up winning. And I feel very, very confident in it after seeing all this stuff take place. And I just wonder, you know, as I went through all this stuff, I just wonder how many people are ready for it. How many people truly can say to themselves, I understand, I'm going to dig into these 12 rules and I'm going to make these people pay for what they're trying to do to America. I'm going to be ready. This is my preseason. I now have the playbook. I am going to use this to destroy people. And the one thing I want to caution you on is don't get caught up having to fulfill your own rules. They will use it against you. And as I pointed out, there have been people in the chat who said it to me and they're not realizing what they're saying. Hey, what kind of Christian are you? You just swore. They're using my rules against them, against me. You can't let that happen. You cannot let that be the case anymore if you're going to win this fight. All right, so let me go. I got some more news to tell you guys about. I'll take some comments in a second. I've got to do this real quick. Yep, here we go. Okay. I got to be straight with you guys. These heat waves, even down here in South Florida, it's hot, but it's not that bad because we got sea breeze. Has me chugging water all day. And once in a while, I'll have these days where I still feel tired, bloated, and dried out. Nothing sticks. Turns out it's not a drink more water problem. Dr. Josh, a real physician with 25 plus years who knows the liver inside and out, set me straight. Your liver distributes hydration at the cellular level. If those cells aren't holding water, it just runs right through you all day and all night. That's why you can drink all day and still feel wiped out. You'll have low energy, you can get bloating, you feel dried out. Most electrolyte drinks are full of sugar and salt. So he made LTV, clinical dose marine electrolytes with taurine, so cells actually retain water, which isn't a bad thing. Plus milk thistle and dandelion root for the liver. Zero sugar, zero carbs, zero calories. Thousands of reviews, and I ordered it the first time I spoke to him. Now, every morning, I feel like a different guy. No afternoon crashes. You've seen me. I'm on here for 3 hours. This will be 3 hours again today. No more bloating. I feel clear-headed. I actually feel hydrated and energized. People always ask me, how the hell are you sit in that chair for three hours at your age? I'm like, try it. Try it and see what happens. You're like, hey, I'm tired. I can't keep going today. I got to keep going. See, I don't push products that don't work. This one does. If you're still drained this summer, go to drinkltv.com/Barry and get this limited time deal up to 57% off. Buy 2, get 1 free, plus a free jar of creatine, only through the link in the description. It's summer. It's America. You need this. drinkltv.com. I'll be back in 90 seconds. We'll get to some more news, but I'll talk to SV and take some of your comments.
back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so I see you got you got 3 stories for me here.
I always have stories, man. You know me. I'm searching high. I search low. I just have to search the right places. So the first story is a young lady from New Jersey who's trying to be the young version of Pelosi. Is it true? Are all these Democrats all fraudsters? I mean, what in the hell's going on?
Well,
So let me embellish.
They have to be, because nobody wants the crap they're selling, and so they have to create a persona as if people really do care.
Well, I didn't even know about this lady. So former Democrat New Jersey Mayor Gina LaPlaca has just been charged with fraud. She faked signatures to obtain ballot placement in the 2026 primary along with her husband. This is the same Democrat charged with DUI in 2025 with her 2-year-old in the car. Absolutely insane. Democrat fraudsters are everywhere.
I'm wondering where this is. Lumberton. Oh, she's young too. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised her hair isn't pink and she's got, the glasses and the nose, frog thing,
Wow. But so they there's no helping these people. Then you got this one.
No.
Colombia.
Winning. Yes, just in. President Trump just got off the phone with Colombia's new right-wing president, Alvarado de la Espriella. Colombia has immediately joined 47's anti-cartel military strike campaign and will swiftly become a great ally. President El Tigre, I just spoke for 10 minutes with President Donald Trump. I deeply thanked him for all the economic aid and the support of the United States rescue teams in the face of the tragedy we are experiencing. The conversation was very friendly and cordial. President Trump was supremely warm and expressed his affection for Colombia and his fondness for our people. I reiterated my deep gratitude for the solidarity and support of the United States towards Colombia. Today, more than ever, the alliance between Colombia and the United States is an imperative for the reconstruction of our beloved nation.
Wow.
Oh,
that's big. That is big. Yeah. I mean, just thinking in my lifetime, I remember the Medellin cartel and what they were doing down there with Pablo Escobar, and South Florida was a huge portal for these guys to bring their stuff in. They used to call it the Cocaine Cowboys. They made a movie about it.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay.
Straight up from Colombia. All right. So what's this one?
All right. So the next one here. What do they all have in common? Just hold on.
Oh gosh. They don't eat pork.
Well, ding, 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 ding. They were not born here, but they are in politics in Hamtramck City Council in Michigan. I'm telling you, Barry, if the president has to be born here in the United States, every elected official has to be born in the United States. I'm sorry. That's just the way it should be. I don't know. Our founding fathers, they screwed up. I wish I could go back in time and shake George and go, George.
I wonder how many of these people are here on TPS. if we could, it's like, sorry, you're gonna have 6 openings in New Jersey or Michigan here. Is it Michigan, New Jersey? Where they're from? Yeah, you're gonna have 6 openings in Michigan. In Michigan, yeah. Of course it's Michigan. Oh my gosh, we got to clean so much stuff up there. I mean, it just doesn't end. It doesn't end at all.
I know.
In terms
Mayor,
of what's going on.
Councilman. I mean, these are all like not low-level jobs either. So, I mean, they're influencing a lot of people and doing a lot of things that like putting foot washes in the airports and things like that.
Insane.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I got a couple stories I'm going to show you guys. We'll talk about here. Let's start.
Staging happening. During our ride along, they checked for cars that were double parked, cars with tinted windows. This is a personal. And the group even received a tip of possible immigration enforcement activity. So we went to check it out. We never ever went.
Oh, my bad. I didn't start that where it was supposed to. All right, we're going to start over.
It's time for a Fanfare News Update.
On the first day back to school, the ride through downtown Los Angeles was about more than getting from one place to another.
Remember to take photos, okay?
LAUSD educator Lupe Carrasco Cardona is volunteering with Unión del Barrio's community.
All right, I'm hitting wrong buttons and stuff. Hold on a second. Did you hear? Why did there's a Saturday Night Live skit where they all why can't you just say it's Luisi or Casio, whatever? Why? I don't even know what the name was. I don't even know what the name is that they just said. It's crazy. But anyway, these are teachers. Just to set the stage, these are teachers who are driving around. I hope they're not city vehicles, and they're telling on, and they've got a network where they're basically telling people where ICE is.
Trolling just to see if there's like staging happening.
During our ride along, they checked for cars that were double parked, cars with tinted windows.
This is a personal.
And the group even received a tip of possible immigration enforcement activity, so we went to check it out.
We never ever want to put information out there that hasn't been confirmed.
How bad is it? How bad is it when we've got teachers riding around trying to locate ICE, telling people there's ICE here or ICE there? No wonder Tom Homan was pissed off the other day. This is in Los Angeles. All these blue areas, they are swamped with newcomers, and they're desperately trying to keep them there as much as possible. It's like they become all Harriet Tubmans. They all have their underground networks at this point. What was the other one? Anne Franks. They're trying everything to do everything they possibly can do to keep these newcomers here. We had a real big problem.
When the young people today say, I'm a socialist, what do they mean? Okay, do they mean I want to socialize the means of production? I believe in dialectical materialism, and I believe in the dictatorship of the proletariat? I don't think so. I don't think that.
Meanwhile. But then there are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production.
So that was Jamie Raskin, who was in a meeting saying, no, they're not that bad. They're not what you think. They don't want to seize a means of production. And then the guy you saw was Mandami just before he got elected saying, we want to seize a means of production. These people are snakes. They need to be called out, including the people like Raskin who are trying to run cover for them. They're trying to pull a scam on America, a dangerous scam, where they are lying through their teeth. They didn't evolve. Nobody's evolved. They're still scumbags. Once a scumbag, always a scumbag.
I like AOC generally, but she came out and said we're just a big tent party. Well, the problem with the big tent defense is every Democrat has to defend all this crap coming from the left. You've got to say, no, I'm not a member of the DSA, and here's why, and make it very clear. I'm a regular Democrat. I'm for labor unions. I'm for opportunity for everybody. I'm for civil rights. I'm for all the things I believe in as a Democrat, but I'm not with this crowd.
Shut up, boomer. That's the problem they're having. It's not just us. Understand, when you see these people talk, they don't say MAGA boomers. They don't like anybody who's older. Definitely, probably more so is people in the Democrat Party. Joe, Mika, anybody, shut up, boomers. They don't want to hear it. And so that's why I feel we are in a very, very prime situation at this point. We can actually do so much because they still haven't fought their civil war. They think they can bring them all in a tent and they all can roll around in the same sleeping bags and everything's going to be okay. They're finding out now they've got big problems, which is our opportunity to isolate them. Remember the 12 rules. Maybe if you wrote them down. Now is our opportunity to go after them, ridicule them, shut up, boomer Democrat, because they don't have any defense for what's going on.
That's what Chris believes, but is that what most in the party, Byron, believe?
I'm afraid he's really the voice of an older generation here. That was a generation, by the way, that came out of 3 Democratic presidential losses in a row, after which Bill Clinton in 1992 presented a more moderate face and won. So you see him like people like Carville and Matthews and others who still have that point of view that the way you win is to at least present yourself as being a moderate, and that's just not what's happening at all. And I think you're absolutely right about the threat not being over here, because basically we saw a few weeks ago some DSA successes at the congressional district level in New York and in Colorado. But now in the last 2 weeks, we've seen 2 tests of DSA candidates at the state level, and they're 1 and 1, which for them is progress. I mean, this was a loss in Wisconsin, but this is progress where they were 3 months ago.
And that's how they look at it. They look at, and they'll keep saying it, we're winning, we're winning, we're actually moving the needle. People love us. They want socialism. They want socialism because, and this is where you come in, their limited experience doesn't tell them what socialism is. When everybody, including the bots, are posting all this stuff about it's going to be so great, you, with your life experience, has to tell these people, no, you're being bamboozled. That's not how it works. They don't know. And all they can do is stay within the realm of their expertise. Your expertise is well beyond what these people have. The only thing they can tell you is F off, boomer, and run, because they can't come at you with actual data. They can't come at you with actual life experience. It's like having your child at home trying to tell you how you need to live. Like, shut up. Doesn't work that way. Nobody closed the door behind you. They don't even realize the resource that you are. That's one of the worst things that the socialists are, is they're trying to isolate us as boomers, not realizing we are the resource for the people who feel they're oppressed. Because we have the answers. We know working at Starbucks is not going to get you where you want to get to. Having this social activism degree is not going to get you where you need to go. If you can't afford college, maybe if you got a grant, but if you got to take student loans, you're not going to make it. There was a post I put up a couple of days ago, and it was literally something that just cracked me up when I looked at it, is because this is what they actually think. And it was a picture of a girl, and she was holding a baby, which told me she was, this one right here, that she was pregnant. And I went, it's not an affordability issue, it's complete financial ignorance, and it's running rampant. And here was the picture. The picture says, I see this sentiment a lot, that interest somehow unfair or more than what you owe. Do people not realize it's a loan? And this picture says, I'm happy to pay back my student loans. What I'm not happy about is paying 3x my student loan because of interest. What part of a loan do you not understand? What part of an amortization table do you not understand? I'm happy to pay back my student loan. What I'm not happy about is paying back 3x my student loan because of interest. Well, honey, when you signed on the dotted line and it said X% of interest, and I'm sure they gave you a promissory note and an amortization table, did you not look at that? You see, when you take a loan, somebody is trusting you with money. Somebody is saying, based upon your word, because a student loan has no collateral, based upon your word, which means it's a higher risk, based upon those things that you might graduate and get a job, I'm going to take a shot and give you X amount of dollars. Only thing you have to do, the only thing I'm asking of you is to pay it back with interest. And when you see people go, I'm not happy paying back my student loan 3 times, then you definitely don't want to buy a house. Trust me, if you think paying back 3x interest on your student loan's a problem, then you aren't ready to buy a house. Never mind can't afford one, you're not ready. Anybody here is a boomer want to tell her, anybody who's a boomer want to tell her why she's not ready to buy a house? I'm pretty sure every single one of you who have purchased a home can tell her. Honey, you don't have any idea what an amortization rate is. See, that's not in her expertise. She can't speak beyond that. All she can speak to is, I don't want to pay 3x. Your expertise can explain to these people why she's paying 3x. And you can also explain to people who are thinking of signing the same document, you pump your brakes. Maybe you don't want to do that right now if you can't afford it. Maybe it sounds good, someone's going to give you free money, but they're going to make you pay it. And so if you're not ready, maybe you shouldn't borrow it. Your expertise tells you that.
So how is it the polling is so wrong? And it wasn't just this week, it was last week too in the Minnesota races.
Because the polling outfits are incompetent. So here's an interesting story. When Donald Trump was running against Kamala Harris, I looked around for a reliable poll. I could not find one. Mm-hmm. I had to go to Brazil.
Oh.
To Brazil.
Okay.
In an outfit called Atlas. And I used them and they were right on. And the reason that we got them was we traced back for 3 years what their polling was and how it stacked up for accuracy. There was.
You mean these posters that we see online weren't credible, Bill? What do you mean? Bill, you're older than, no, you might still be a boomer. Oh, you've got some expertise. You had to find a Brazilian pollster who was more credible than the American pollsters. Got it. Got it. Even Katie was like, huh? Really? Seriously? Yeah, I know this because I'm saying this right now. I'm going to show this on air again because I want you. There's my baby who's pooping his pants right now. Ooh, he's pooping his pants. Oh, that felt nice and wet. It's because it's the feeling you should have when you hear somebody who's saying they're making a poll and they're giving you some data, and at the same time, this person has really exemplified their hate and disgust with President Trump and MAGA. Why would I take any data? Why would I listen to anything you say when I already know your hate for Trump and MAGA? Your data is tainted. It's as tainted as the poo-poo in the baby's diaper. It means absolutely nothing to me. I need to keep you inside the box that you've made of your own doing. My expertise and listening to other people is like, well, nope, can't listen to these people.
One poll in the United States of America that was accurate more than 70%, 60%. And that's the state of the industry.
I don't know how anybody, I don't know how any of these pollsters woke up after what happened in Wisconsin and said to themselves, yeah, I'm in a great profession. I lie for a living, and I don't make as much as lawyers do. I completely make up numbers, I make up stats, I make up data, and I push this stuff out there. They need to be ridiculed. They need to be isolated. They need to be just made to feel completely disgusted. And they don't have any mirrors in their homes. They can wake up the next day and went, okay, let's just do it again. Oh yeah, Trump's down by, he's got the worst rating ever. I just saw you say that the lady in Wisconsin was going to win by 26 points. How are you even posting?
I think the issue with the whole woke one is crazy thing and why she's going to have to do more than just laugh it off is she was the one who led this movement, right? I mean, that's like saying, oh, the first, Salem witch trial, it was crazy. No, you have to explain, or is it the woke people saying do the work and explain why you're trying to distance yourself from.
She's talking about AOC, who did that interview. In her interview, she said that, woke one, as if there was a one or a two. Woke one, that was crazy. Not crazy anymore. We're doing really well. No, you're still woke. You're still crazy. And as Byron Donald said to Stephen A. Smith way back at the beginning of the show, you are the arsonist. You started the fire, and then you're expecting us to bring you in to put the fire out. When you have no definition because you're box again, you're still not telling anybody what you're going to do for them. Even the Mandamis of the world, we're going to give you free stuff. You can't. You don't have the ability to do it. Nobody asked Bernie, how the hell do you expect to give Medicare for all? Where's it coming from? Oh, we're going to tax. So you're telling me, again, expertise, you're older, boomers, that taxing people is going to be the way forward. It works when you talk to people who have no idea and their box is so limited that they can't speak to it. It works for them because they don't think it affects them. I'm not even paying my student loan. What the hell? You're not going to get any tax out of me. I'm not making any money. So it feels nice and juicy to them.
You can't, as a leader, fall prey to something and say, oh, oops, and then be expected to be trusted with responsibility once again. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about how...
No, it's not how it works. And it's funny because when I'm watching CNN, and I watch those shows so you don't have to, I find it odd that there's entire panels, 5 and 6 people, who at the end of common sense realize that the contrast is so bad that they look stupid. Obviously, The View is the worst one. They just say stuff and they all look around for encouragement and affirmation, and then when none comes, they get mad and throw people off stage.
I see changes in schools.
Oh, I'm gonna close with this one. Oh, sit back. You're gonna love this one.
I want to see my son a different style of food than what I saw.
Shukri Abdi graduated from Crawford High School in 2007 and now has a son in the district. She says she wasn't able to eat at school because the foods weren't halal.
You know what? When I was in high school, I would have preferred to have Chinese food. They could have served me Chinese food every single day. I'd have loved it. There are some friends of mine who would have loved it if you had like pizza and lasagna every single day. But nobody I knew ever said, man, can I get some of that halal stuff? So you want an entire school district to change the school menu so you can have your halal stuff. Y'all gone too far now. You're messing with my food. If I was in that high school, I would have had to smack her around. What are you talking about? As long as I got some hot dogs, cheeseburgers, some barbecue, and of course the tuna burger we used to have. I used to love me some tuna fish. Maybe if we had a little bit of like, what was that stuff? General Tso. But I'm not down with that halal stuff. And on top of everything else, you're getting it for free. How the hell are you telling me I got to eat halal stuff when you're not even paying for it and you're just not even supposed to be here? Hopefully this was one of the ones that's got to get out.
Hunger affected her studies. Fatima Adam Haji goes to the Kearney High Educational Complex and says packing a lunch is always an option, but a burden for low-income families.
Packing a lunch is a burden for low-income families. You know, there were a lot of low-income families that went to some of the schools I went to as I was growing up. But there was always bread, and there was always peanut butter and jelly. The school didn't have to have halal, and you had a brown bag, and you had a couple pieces of bread, you had some peanut butter and jelly, and it wasn't my position. I didn't have to feed your ass. But now they're trying to normalize this stuff and say they can't afford to feed these kids. You mean the kids that they have? The kids that they keep breeding? And because they can't take care of their kids, it somehow is my responsibility. That's not how it works. That's not how it ever has worked. Don't have the kids if you can't feed them. Oh, but then again, that's racist. Oh my God, it's racist.
Many refugee children, including Haji, receive free and reduced meals at school.
I feel like the free reduced lunch is a waste because you're providing me with the resources to get lunch because of my low income, but at the same time, you're not providing me with the lunch that I am supposed to be eating.
What movie was it? Oh, Jack Nicholson and A Few Good Men. I provide the stuff. I provide your safety. I wish you'd just say thank you and be on your merry way. So they're giving me free food. I can't afford the free food, but you're not giving me free food that we want. I would rather you say thank you and be on your merry little way. Either way, I don't give a what you have to say. Eat it. I'm not being... Yeah, I am being mean to people who feel that way. Yes, I need to ridicule you. Yes, we need to get these emotions out there and tell people, wait a second, I can't imagine feeding somebody out of my heart to say I'd love to help you and your family out. I'd love to be, make sure that you and your family have something to friggin' eat. And you tell me, I understand it's free, but I don't eat that. You gonna eat it today? You gonna eat that today or you going hungry? And I won't think twice about it. Here's some peanut butter and jelly and here's some bread. Have at it or don't. It's up to you. Robin and I had to do an early show today. Robin and I've got a friend in town. We're going to be going to dinner after the show. And, there'll be a bunch of people in there. And it's funny because we will go. We will break bread around the table. We will have laughs. We will talk. We'll probably spend 2 hours sitting there. And we will enjoy the blessings that the Lord has provided for us. And here is somebody getting a handout, a literal handout, and telling people, yeah, but it's not what I like. Boy, you'd get spaghetti 7 days a week.
Anticipate that there will be some people who will object to it.
Adina Betnitsky is a sociologist at the University of San Diego and studies cultural health disparities. She went to bat for the local Muslim community in 2012 when it called for the YMCA to offer special swim hours for Muslim girls.
What? How are we going to keep bending over? How are we going to keep doing everything to accommodate people who aren't supposed to be here? They're laughing and they're having a great time because they're making us go outside the area of our expertise and to climb into their little boxes. We have to stop. We have to call this out as soon as we see it happening.
Sparked a contentious conversation about Sharia law and assimilation. Betnitsky says offering a halal option at schools has nothing to do with political Islam and everything to do with public health.
If these children are not given the opportunity to eat foods that are congruent with their religion, then they're either going to not eat, which of course is not conducive to learning, or alternatively, they're going to focus on eating only foods that they're familiar with that follow their dietary restrictions, and that's often junk food that you can easily read the ingredients and say, okay, this would be all right. But I don't think we want our children just to be eating potato chips all day.
San Diego Unified officials.
I don't care. I don't care if they eat peanut butter and jelly. I don't care if they eat dirt cookies. Because if they turn down a gift that I'm giving them, if they turn down a gift that you're giving them, out of your pocket, your tax dollars, these people are saying, if you don't feed me what I want, you're doing something wrong to me. And I'm thinking to myself, how many food kitchens I've donated to, how many pantries I've donated to or worked with, and I've seen people, Americans, who, especially during the whole COVID thing, Americans who were like so happy and appreciative. Thank you for this box of food. I understand there's some spinach and there's some spaghetti. There might be some, thank you. And now we're being made to feel bad because they might have to eat something they don't really like. Well, you know what I say about that?
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. And neither should you. Is it time to be mean? No, you're not being mean. The people, wherever that is, Minnesota or Michigan, who are paying for it, they're paying with their tax dollars so these kids can eat. These unappreciative families are turning it around on us and saying, you're feeding me American white people food. Blech.
Would not comment on the halal campaign, but have met with the City Heights group. The district already offers vegetarian options, which, by the way, aren't always halal thanks to processed salad dressings. And there is a precedent.
Then just eat the frickin' lettuce. Now, wait a second. Now you're telling me, in addition to everything else, now I need halal condiments.
For halal school lunches. Schools in Dearborn Heights, Michigan already offer them to their many Somali students. If the San Diego district decides to do the same, there's a good chance non-Muslim students won't really notice.
Oh, okay. So you're going to change Freddy's food to accommodate their dietary whatever preference, and you're hoping we just don't notice. This doesn't taste right. Shut up and eat it. Muslims are happy. What? What the hell's halal? I don't like this. Shut up and eat it. You're not supposed to notice. Did you really just say that? Did you really just say my mom and dad go to work every single day so you guys can eat, but now I got to make the food that you like, even if it tastes like crap? Don't pay any attention. You will never notice. Wow. 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 Say it ain't so, man.
No words, man. I'm gonna, on the advice of my attorneys, I've been instructed to plead the Fifth Amendment.
This is why they were shutting down our Twitter accounts and everything else, because they knew it would get to the point where Americans would start looking at this stuff going, oh, F off. Oh, just, you can go kiss it at this point. And it needs to be called out. It needs to be ridiculed. I mean, you are changing stuff to accommodate people who aren't supposed to be here, and then telling the other kids, yeah, I hope you don't notice.
Well, my last story is perfect. It's a perfect ending. So Ennis Cantor, let me,
so
it's a 23-second video.
He's keeping the pressure on is what you're saying.
There you go. This is awesome.
Hold on, do I need to download it real quick?
Yeah, it's 23 seconds.
Okay, hold on.
Let's let him. We'll let him say.
Hold on, I got it. Here we go. Give me a second. Play the Jeopardy music or whatever. Okay. All right, here we go. Keep the pressure on.
You think you could make that team? That's a really good team.
Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I'm just thinking about this scenario, right? We're going down the lane and Caitlin just throwing a lob. I cut the lob and I'm just dunking the ball. And then me and Caitlin just bumping chest to each other, which I am allowed to do because I'm now a woman.
Yeah.
Switch. I'm glad you had that, because that personifies everything that those 12 rules have said. We ridicule them, we mock them, we use their rules against them. And now it leaves them where there's nothing they can do. They're like, what do we do? What are we going to do? And I'm glad that these guys, as much heat as they were being given, they didn't back off at all. And they're just coming harder and harder and harder. Good. Good.
The final woman. Come on. The final woman.
I think the worst part about it is, as we look at it, is you have the easiest comeback ever. You have the dunk, you have the layup. All you got to do is say one thing. I can't say it. I can't. Say it.
Wait, Barry, you can show it, right? The clip from Kindergarten Cop. It's really easy. Let the little kids say
I don't have it. I don't have it at this. It's at the other studio.
All right. All right.
Yeah, I came over. I came over to the day. I forgot to tell you which one to clue into. I'm glad you found it, because I didn't know if you knew I went to the daytime studio. But
I check them all, man. I go down until I see the screen come up.
I forgot to tell you. All right, so let me go ahead and do super chats, because
all right. Have a great evening.
I gotta go. You know, it's weird. This is, let me tell you a quick story. So the guy and his girlfriend who I'm meeting tonight, I worked with at Disney back in 95, 96, and lost contact with him. Haven't spoke to him until like recently, for 30 years now. And one day he was looking up Trump stuff online, and I popped up, and he said, "Is that him? is that it?" No. And so he commented on the show, but I didn't see it. And then he asked a friend for my number and texted me, and so we've been talking now. But it's the power of social media. It's just very weird.
One of my cousins found me on here. He showed me a picture. He's texted me and like, "Is this you?" I go, "Yeah, that's me." Hey, before you go, there you got a super chat from a gentleman, Gray Man 57. I believe that's Christina.
Christina.
That's her uncle.
That's her uncle. Yeah,
her uncle. Yeah, so he's giving us an update. So when you come up to it, you can read that for everybody in case they missed it.
He was the one. I don't know. We had showed a video of him, and behind him where he was sitting, he had a whole like an armory behind him. I was like, nobody's knocking.
I love that.
Hope nobody knocks on that door. But, all right. Thank you very much.
See you soon.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too. All right. So let me go ahead and do this. Carrie Brewer celebrating 23 years of sobriety today. That's got to give him a heads up for that one. Congratulations. Bielka. Barry, Magic Johnson should talk about it in layman terms, or the debate stumper campaign. Oh, Mike Johnson, Magic Johnson. Mike Johnson should talk about it in layman terms on a debate stump or campaign trail to tell young people because they don't read or can't. True. Absolutely true. Ed, Barry, I get to watch and participate in the show, and today is my 54th birthday. Thank you and the mods for all you do. Oh, that's another hands up. Thank you. Happy birthday. Bielka, bottom line, to combat SA rules, we need to grow a pair. There you go. That's it. We gotta get comfortable being uncomfortable. What are you planning to do for September 11th? I don't know. I'm sure they're going to have like the ceremony and like they do every year. And so I'm going to see what's happening, see what President Trump's going to do, if he's going to go up, not sure, but do some sort of memorial. 25th year. Wow. 25th year. Linnell, we all need gym rat mentality, delayed gratification, and celebrate the gains. Having a gym family made me better physically and mentally. Absolutely. EG, excellent program today. I agree 100%. Let's apply Alinsky's rules for MAGA success. We got to push back. Otherwise, well, it is what it is. Sue, hey, Barry, Trump was in Turkey July 8th. Caroline didn't return from maternity leave until July 16th, so she wasn't even on that plane. Boom. Boom. So the entire thing was made up. Wow. That's saying something. Kansas grandma, I'm a Christian. I know God didn't make us in his image to be stupid and weak. Well said. So at a time of battle, we need to know he will be our shield and sword. Fight, fight, fight to save this nation. Very well said. Very well said. Thank you. Chiosop, it's looking more and more like the teachers are some of the biggest threat to our country. Indoctrinated facilitators and communists. I agree 100%. And Chiosop, woke commies don't like the older generation because they have more experience and knowledge, and they will expose them and their stupidity. Bingo. It's been a coordinated campaign to go after so-called boomers. Never mind the fact that there's so many boomers that are running. What's Bernie? He's probably beyond boomer at this point. Moshe, in Israel, in order to be in government, if you have dual citizenship, you have to give up the other one, renounce. Yep. Since the late 80s, and the KEF did it so a right-wing party could get in. We need to do something like that. Alec, president uses their own playbook against them. Yeah, I was surprised when I was doing my research that that was indeed the case. Alec, they called people fascists and Nazis, but they started crying when we called them communists. Yep, perfect example. Turned it right around on them. And we shouldn't give them any harbors, and no safe harbor. Chiosop, polls have different functions. Some of them are designed to drive people to the polls or get people comfortable so they don't go vote. I agree. Also from Chiosop, thank you. Also, when some people want to convince you of their point, they usually start the sentence with studies suggested or consensus shows. Reports, studies, doctors say, experts say, exactly. Most won't dispute. Cutting edge. These women are using 100% tequila that they are saying in their husbands, say this, or when they ask you this, but nothing but liars. Yep, there's something in the religion that says tequila that you can lie if it helps you get to your end result. She was up again. Ungrateful freeloaders, eat crap, get lost. Yeah, you're gonna have us pay for something and then tell us it's not good. Gray man. Okay, this is Christina's uncle, I believe. How do y'all? I'm already missing that little munchkin. Christy says hi, and she says a lot of X messages, and we'll answer them soon. They're spending tonight in their house and leaving for Bermuda early tomorrow morning. Awesome, very awesome. Yes, congratulations on her wedding. Much blessings to Christy. Alec, they will accuse Trump for stealing Alinsky's rules. They will also accuse him for stealing MAGA because Clinton used it before him. Screw him. That's how I say. Chiosop again. Do they steal my money in a halal fashion? That's a good one. That's very good. Moshe, send these Muslims to El Saint in Boston. It's a Catholic beach, which has a separate swimming hours. Maybe not because religion. Jews go there because of that. Wow. I never knew that. Never knew that. And I'm familiar with Boston. Hello, Neo. Love the show. Barry, thank you. Alinsky rules analysis were spot on. Thank you. Behind our present, we are fighting for God and America. Well, thank you very much for that. All right, everybody. I'm off to dinner with Robin and a friend. Hope you guys have a great evening tonight. We'll see you tomorrow sometime. And till then, have a good evening. Watch some football. Right now, I'm watching the Los Angeles Rams playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. That should be a good game. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.